Hello, hi everyone. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much everyone for coming. So we're going to be talking about developing an enterprise strategy for generative AI. If you don't know me, my name's Faye Ellis. I'm a principal training architect at Pluralsight. But before that, I was an architect for many years. So hopefully I've got some things to share with you that are going to resonate. Okay, so we're going to be talking about developing a generative AI strategy. So we're going to have a little intro, talk a little bit how it's actually transforming enterprises for us as Pluralsight, a training company, but also for our customers. We'll talk a bit about the kind of activities that you'll want to do when developing your strategy. Responsible AI, very close to my heart, and the skills and technologies that we're all going to need in order to survive. So a little quote from Accenture, 76% of executives saw generative AI as more of an opportunity than a threat, very interesting. 47% of executives don't feel prepared, and only 27% claim that their organizations are ready to scale up. Pretty scary, right? So I wanted to start off by thinking a little bit about what is strategy and what comes to mind when we all think about strategy. So I'd like to, as we go through each of these, I'd like you to raise your hand if you think this is the most important thing. So is it important to have the plan or approach? Or is strategy more a framework for making decisions? Is it a set of priorities? Is it a way of generating value for our customers or our shareholders? Is it a definition of what we're actually trying to achieve? Or is it actually something else? And if it's something else, I'd love you to say what that something else is to you. Would you be prepared to say? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what the gentleman said is absolutely a combination of all of these. But I think in addition to that, he said it's actually a combination of all of these things. It's no one individual thing. But I believe it's actually more than this. It's also encompassing where we actually are right now and what's our baseline. Where do we want to be? And how we're going to get there. And that really kind of, for me, encompasses it in a nutshell. Now, generative AI is, of course, transforming across a broad range of industries in 3 broad categories that we've identified. So first of all, improving our operations, so improving our internal operations and making what we do much more efficient. And that's kind of an internal sort of a thing. For example, think of a project management team using past project information to help understand the lessons learned and do things better next time. Transforming the lives of our customers as well, so transforming our customer experience. We've seen demos of some great chatbots, and if you've used Amazon.com recently, they have got a really good chatbot right now, and lots of companies are experimenting with that kind of thing and making it better and better. And also improving our products. And this, I think, is where the money is to be made. You know, bringing out products that actually delight our customers, make life easy for our customers. And on Pluralsight, we're experimenting with personal tutors to help curate your learning journey. Now, I've spoken to loads of our customers, and we have customers across the board working in large consultancies to automotive, healthcare, finance, and this is how they're using generative AI at the moment. So generating customer contracts, writing product documentation that none of us like to do, performing code security reviews, really, really beneficial for that. Creating presentations, however, I created this presentation, I didn't get AI to do it for me. Internal knowledge sharing and Q&A, that kind of thing. At Pluralsight, we're experimenting with personalizing the learner experience, surfacing the right content for our learners and meeting them at their level. Discovering and summarizing a vast catalog of thousands of courses. quickly creating tutorials, creating code that we can use to teach our customers, and text-based video editing. And this is a real game changer for us, allowing us to create up-to-date content really, really quickly. So that's one way that we, as Pluralsight, primarily a training and content provider, is using generative AI. So we really see this as a time for experimentation. It's a rapidly evolving field. So we really encourage you to experiment, iterate, and explore. And technologies like Amazon Bedrock are going to make it really, really easy for you. And if you've heard of the Converse API, that's part of Bedrock that allows you to really quickly and easily experiment with lots of different AI models with very minimal code changes. So I would encourage you to experiment, jump in the water, and start using Bedrock and the Converse API, and that's going to help you experiment really, really quickly. So on to developing a strategy. What are the kind of things that we need to think about when we're developing our AI strategy? Well, first of all, you want to understand your baseline. So understand exactly where you are today, and that's going to help you to understand where do I need to go, like what's the route that I need to take in order to get to my future. So what's your current situation? What's your current technology stack, and what are the constraints that are involved in working with that current technology stack? And what is your current usage of AI? Maybe you have people within different departments in your company who are already successfully using AI. Next, you'll want to think about use cases. And my advice to you is fall in love with the problem and not the solution, because we don't create technology in a vacuum. And that's one of the things that Werner was talking about this morning. We don't create technology for its own sake. We actually create it for our customers, whether that's our internal customers or our customers that we sell to. So ask yourself, what problems am I looking to solve? What problems do I want to solve for myself and my teams and my customers? And then think about, do I actually have the data that's needed to solve those problems, to make those decisions and really utilize your data and really get the value from your data so that you can start to solve some of those problems. And then once you've done that, of course, prioritizing a list of use cases, because you can't work on everything, right? So identify the ones that are going to align with your strategic goals as a business, because once again, we don't create technology just for the sake of it. Data. Now, data is the fuel for generative AI, and data is gold now. It's your biggest asset, something to be protected, but also something to really extract the value from. So think about whether you already have the data that you need in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So do you need to collect more? Is it in the right format? Do you need to prepare it in some way? Do you need to combine it or transform it? And is your data stored appropriately on the correct platform? So is it encrypted? Is it accessible to the systems that require it? And also you want to think carefully about data privacy and security concerns. And of course with AWS, there's loads of different ways that you can secure your data, make it available to your AI models in a secure way so that you know that you're not going to get any data leakage. Next, you want to think about identifying models, and there are so many different models available. So you want to identify the ones that you want to experiment with, which are the most appropriate ones for the modalities that you're using, whether it's text generation, text summarization, translation, image generation, etc. Getting started is, of course, the most easiest and cost-effective with pre-trained models, and then, of course, fine-tuning for your domain. So changing up the hyperparameters, adding your own custom data. Augmenting with that's what I just said, yeah. Augmenting with custom data and tuning the hyperparameters to enhance model accuracy and to get the best model performance. Okay. How are we going to get there? Well, we need to think about our current infrastructure constraints and requirements. These models can be very computationally intense, especially when we're talking about billions and billions of hyperparameters. These models growing and requiring massive instance types in order to run. So this is only really going to be possible by taking advantage of cloud infrastructure. So think about what infrastructure constraints you have at the moment, where your existing systems are, where your data is, how your data is going to interface with different models, and think about which cloud providers you're already invested in, and is your data actually sitting in the right place at the moment? And do these cloud providers offer you the right services to allow you the flexibility to experiment and actually get that value from your data? Next, you'll want to think about training and validation. So this is all about customizing the models, training them again if you need to, training them using your own data, experimenting using retrieval augmented generation, so that's providing securely your custom data to help avoid hallucinations and make sure the model's using the most up-to-date data possible. And trying out different models, and once again, it's a period of experimentation to get it right. So you'll also want to define validation tests, so to actually evaluate the model performance. And when I say performance, I mean really accuracy. So how well is it performing in terms of the way that you actually want it to respond to your requests. You'll also want to be able to identify hallucinations and bias, because we don't want to perpetuate any more bias and social inequity than already exists in our world. Governance, of course, is very important. We've had new governance come out in Europe, and there's governance coming out in the US as well. So you'll want to think about security standards to protect against data leakage and ensure privacy, very important for all of us. But also within your own industry, understanding which regulatory compliance you need to adhere to, very important. And establishing standards, internal standards, around how you're going to comply with those regulations. Responsible AI, of course, very important for all of us and very close to all of our hearts. So I wanted to have a little chat about responsible AI and the things that we should all be thinking about. So the reason why we need to think about this is because, of course, the data that's used to train these models is going to naturally contain historical or social inequities, and we want to be intentional about the kind of data that we're providing into this model. Whether that includes sampling from underrepresented groups, or creating synthetic data, and we can use AI to do that, to help us build data sets that allow us to be more inclusive and not reflect social inequities. Ongoing testing as well, extremely important, and finding ways to evaluate to ensure that you're doing things responsibly. Now, I also wanted to talk about sustainability and cost optimization, because sustainability I don't think really comes up very much when we talk about responsible AI, but to me, I think part of being a responsible human is not wasting the planet's resources, right? So there's a few things that we can do. And when we act sustainably, we're also optimizing for cost, so they kind of go hand in hand. So the first thing we can do is select smaller models with fewer hyperparameters. And we had some smaller models being announced this week for Bedrock, so the Bedrock Nova set of models, wonderful models to start experimenting with. Serverless options, of course, Bedrock is serverless, and you've also got SageMaker serverless inference, going to save you money and save the planet as well. Pre-trained models, saving on cost and planet resources, because they really cost an awful lot of money to train and a lot of time, expending a lot of carbon footprint as well. And also using the right tools for the job. We wouldn't choose the biggest EC2 instance to run a tiny little application, so we want to make sure that we're using the right tools for the job for AI as well. And optimized processes like Trainium and Inferentia, they're optimized for cost, but they're also optimized to be sustainable and have a low carbon footprint for the amount of capacity and performance that you're getting out of those chips. Continuous learning and innovation. It's not a one and done exercise. So you'll want to make sure that your teams stay up to date with the latest advancements and adapt accordingly. Continuously improve based on your user feedback and the performance of your model and the value that you're getting out of it. And of course, encourage a culture of experimentation and innovation in the organizations that you're working in. skills and technologies that we all need to be thinking about if we're thinking that we feel a little bit threatened by AI. Data skills are going to be extremely important. So the ability to recognize when data is flawed, to visualize data using tools within Python, different libraries like matplotlib, those kind of libraries. The ability to select an algorithm, train and evaluate models. Security is also another skill that we know is really, really sought after, and practical hands-on experience with cloud security. As well as human-centric skills, the things that machines can't do. So things like empathy, leadership, communication, having understanding and stakeholder management skills as well. We don't want to teach computers to try and do that for us. So we got to the end. Thank you so much. I'm happy that I managed to get through that in my allotted time.